Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate to have you here. This is an off-road RC crawling, and today we are gonna be taking a look at this gorgeous little piece, FMS FCX18 LC80. I've got this car a little bit over 1 year ago, and I've done some upgrades, a lot of them actually, and I've been driving it for a long, many times. I've been out. I don't even count it anymore. I take it out like very often. So yeah, it has some miles, it has a lot of upgrades, it's far from stock. So let's talk about how do I feel about this car after 1 year. First of all, as a stock, obviously what you wanna change in almost all the crawlers are the wheels and rims. So this is the stock one. I kept the stock one in the rear because it looks nice, and I'm running these currently. These are 57 times 22 millimeters from Injora, and with these rims, they are heavy, they are nice, they have good grip, they are squishy, so they perform really well. Other than this, what you will have to probably change, because you will break it, is the front bumper. So this is the original front bumper, and it's mounted only in these two tiny pieces with tiny screws, and these just break off very easily. If you just hit something, it just pops up. That happened to me on maybe third or fourth run, when I a little bit hit some rock a little bit harder. So I've ordered a new one at that time, but until it got here, I've actually tried to glue it back in with some epoxy and stuff. So the original one I tried to like fix somehow, and it worked for a while, but then luckily Injora released these really nice aluminum ones, and I'm running those. They look awesome, and they are impossible to break. So yeah, I'm really happy with those. Okay, let's talk about all the upgrades that I've done. So first of all, tires and bumpers, I already talked about those. Then there are a 45 millimeters Injora shocks. I have upgraded servo to Savöx. This is a SH-0257MG. Really good servo actually. The C-hubs and the portal covers are all brass, also as well as the steering link. This is Injora brass one. Then I went ahead and I also changed the gearbox, and I have changed the motor. From the stock I put a Injora one. So I kept the original transmitter and receiver together with the ESC, because actually this car comes with 2-speed transmission or 2-speed gearbox, and it performs really well. Even in the very low speeds, you don't basically need to go brushless with this car, because this is not the biggest performer anyway. I did this build as an overland vehicle, and maybe all those upgrades are a little bit overshot for that, but I think it looks really nice, and this suspension, for example, works really amazing. I mean, it just sits really nice, and still it has some bounce. So I really this is my favorite 1/18 scale rig, I have to say. Even when it's not the biggest performer, I love it. Other than that, I changed the drive shafts. I 3D printed the rear shock tower, because I wanted it to sit a little bit lower, to look a little bit more scale. I didn't manage to do that in the front, even when I tried, but actually on the very lowest point, the servo starts to hit the battery box from inside. So it's the lowest as it can go, but in the rear actually it can go all the way here. So yeah, I think it looks nice. Other than that, I did 3D printed these escape boards, these two boxes, one chemotrophy box and a couple of these gasoline tanks, and actually I'll do separate video on how do I model and print these, because they are really nice, easy to pop off and on, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, this car has been amazing. There are a couple of things that are really worth to mention as a pros. So it looks awesome. There is no say anything about that. For me, this is really beautiful. I mean, check it out. This body has a lot of details. It's a Land Cruiser 80 series. I mean, it's just awesome. It drives really well. With 2-speed gearbox, you really have low speed control, and when you need, you also get a decent wheel speed. It has a portal axles, so a lot of clearance. That helps in certain cases. Adjustable drag brake on the fly. That's the next thing. So with the switch number 3 and 4, you can actually choose between 4 different levels. Really awesome feature, especially when you are trailing and then for a little crawl and vice versa. So that really helps. The next thing that is really cool is that this opens actually, and this is where you turn the vehicle on, and then you can drive. It has actually insane battery life, because this car comes with 900 milliampere hours battery, and that, at least to me, it lasts more than 2 hours of driving. I love that. You don't really have to carry another battery if you're not going out for a whole day or something, because more than 2 hours, it's really nice. Also, some of you might wonder why I have these GST connectors here. Yeah, I've changed those from the stock ones because I am using a couple of batteries with that plug. So that's just the reason. There is nothing wrong with stock ones. They're really good actually, but I bought batteries that had JST, so I changed those. So yeah, I really like that. But that, and the last thing that is a big plus, I would say, is that the servo is actually axle mounted, and it's already laying down, so that's really nice. But this opening, which is really cool, brings me to my next point, and there are a couple of cons that this vehicle actually has. So first, that I mentioned, the stock bumpers will break very quickly, so be aware of that. And the biggest downside of this car, I would say, is the mounting or body mounting on this vehicle. So it has 4 screws here, 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. These 2 and these 2 are different, and the whole body sits on tiny pieces of plastic sticking out of the body. So I'm really afraid I'm gonna break it all the time, and also it doesn't hold these screws as good as it does when you get it stock. So after a couple of times putting it on and off when you are working on some upgrades, this will, like, you really need to be careful with those screws. So that's really the thing to be care about. And also the servo saver here. I mean, on a crawler you really don't need and you don't want servo saver, because when I hold this, the servo actually moves, but the wheels doesn't. So when you are in some tough position and you really need that little bit extra more steer to get out of it, you don't get it, because the servo saver will just do the work that we don't want it. So yeah, I could not find a steering horn for some time for this Savöx. I think it's 21 tooth and everybody is selling just 25, so I'll see what I can do about that. And let's talk about final verdict. Would I buy this car again? Definitely yes, I love it, it's my favorite rig, and I recommend buying anyone this car, even if you are starting or if you are a little bit intermediate. Let me know in the comments, what have you done with the build that you have of LC80? What is your favorite upgrade? I think that you don't really need to go with the brushless with this car, especially with the 2-speed gearbox, because the low speed control on this is really decent, and the second gear it's also really fast. So I really like the stock controller. It really fits into your hand and it drives really well. So I've upgraded basically everything other than that, and the links and chassis, and they also don't need upgrade because they are metal from the stock. Besides these triangle ones, these are plastic inside, these ones, but they are not that important. They are not gonna break that easily. Yeah, so this is my LCAT. I really appreciate you watching this video. Let me know in the comments what would you like to see next, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit a thumbs up if you like this video.